Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to N2U The Movement, a space where real life meets real purpose. This isn't just another podcast. Remember, I said that in my intro, my last show. This is for anyone out there that's trying to figure things out, get back up, or just keep moving forward. Because let's be real, life happens. Mhm. Good, bad, messy, magical. But the question is, what are you going to do with it? Hmm. Here, we dive into stories, lessons, conversations that are educational, motivational, and purpose driven. And yeah, totally inspirational too. Yes. Whether you're in a season of winning or learning, you're not alone. So if you're ready to grow, reflect, and tap into the next version of you, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. This is Into You, the movement. I promised you our first series was going to be on grief. And our first episode today, right now, is on shock and denial. And we know that, shock and denial is, specifically, I think shock is just like kind of like you're frozen, right? You just can't comprehend the fact that this loss just happened. So you're just kind of like, exactly. You see that numb. And then you compare that with denial, with it's just the difficulty of comprehending the reality of the loss, right? You just can't believe that you're experiencing such a significant loss. It's just not, there's no way, you know. You sit there and you will say, like as if your grandmother, you will literally the next day expect a phone call because she's not gone. No, she's still here. Or just pure by, your routine, you will pick the phone up and call your grandma because you're in denial that it is, yeah, she's still here, right? Or what if it's a loss of a job, right? You will get up the next day because you didn't just lose your job and get ready for work thinking maybe your boss is going to call you and say, okay, April Fools. No, or I made a mistake. I'm not, I really need you here to come back. So let me tell you from a personal experience. So my mom passed away April 15th, 2020 at 8:30 p.m. Yes, we're in 2025, 5 years ago. And I remember, you know, specifically the date and the time, right? We just had finished eating dinner, right? Like before we even sat down to eat dinner, she had already, because we had just moved from Nashville, Tennessee, back to Atlanta, Georgia. And I specifically got her the house of her dreams, right? That all the bells and whistles, all the things that she said she wanted. So she was so excited to be in this house. And so when we got back to Atlanta, she was already planning, the things she was going to do for the weekend, the next day. So because the day she passed was on a Wednesday, so she was already planning what she was going to do on Saturday, right? She run around the house, like I said, good. She had talked to my cousin. They were doing their political conversation that morning, doing what they do. And then also she fixed dinner, ate really well. She ate amazing. No signs, right? And she washed dishes. And I remember because we just moved in and I wanted to put the rugs down. And I was just like, hey, if you make the mop water, mom, I will mop all the floors so I can put the rugs down. And she said, all right, let me just go use the bathroom real quick and I'll make it for you. All right. Again, no signs. She was out earlier picking weeds. She's great. She goes and falls to her death. Massive heart attack. So my daughter, 6 at the time, we do all our things to try to revive her as the paramedics were coming. And yeah, she left. When it is so wild when they say, I used to hear, you know, all the sayings, you don't know the day nor the hour, right? Um, you know, God doesn't put more on you than you can bear. You know, just I could keep going, right? Well, I used to when I hear those things like, yeah, 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 right, okay, because you know it's usually our elders telling us this, right? Our grandmothers or our mothers, our aunties, whatever. So you're like, yeah, 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 right. Let me tell you, that day it became real. Those sayings came really real to me, and I instantly believed them. I should have when they were saying them, but I instantly believed them. And so my mom, they took her away. Um, and let me just say, my mother was my best friend. She was just like, my everything. We did everything together. Um, I don't know that I even laughed the same with others because my mom and I we were so silly and we laugh and talk about everything, right? Um, so in my experience with this shock and denial, because I thought let me roll into it, my point to make to all of you with this one stage, the very first stage, shock and denial, I experienced it real. Number one, I was numb. It was really hard for me to help my daughter because I was that. I literally see you thought my screen froze, right? No, that was just me every day walking. That was just me. I looked like a zombie, right? And then I was just like, okay, no, they're going to take her to the hospital and they'll do whatever and she's going to be fine. I even went to the hospital and said goodbye. They called, it was during COVID, and they called, and it was really hard. You know how it was hard navigating seeing your loved ones, getting in the hospital, all the things that were happening that we were not understanding and were not accepting during COVID, right? And but they did let me in, and I spent some quality time. Quality time. I spent time with my mom saying goodbye with my daughter, her grandbaby. Actually, just seeing if it was true. I'm looking at her, I'm talking to her, I'm touching her, and I'm just like, because it's not true, she's just napping, right? Denial, shock. I go home, and I was like waiting for the hospital to call, to say, oh, hey, she wants to talk to you, right? Because it didn't happen. My mom was tough, strong, nothing was wrong, right? Even days after, I was like, oh my God, I was scared. Like, we moved out of the house because what do I need that house for? It was for her. We moved out of the house and moved across town. And every day I was just like freaking out because I was just like, oh my gosh, she's not going to know where to come home because we moved. So she's not going to be able to find us, right? Denial in the worst way, So I was so upset that she is not going to be able to come home because we have moved, right? So this is all significant. When I tell you I hit that stage like thunder and lightning, yeah, I did. So the tool I use, to get through that stage, right, is basically remembering those conversations that I have with my mom. That when that day comes, she would be ready, right? That she's not going to be hurt. She's not going to be sad. She's done everything in life that she wanted to do, and she got a chance to love on her grandchildren. And she did everything for her own children, right? And so she would be ready. So I sat with myself because you need to have that quiet time with yourself. I know people want to surround you when you lose someone. Make sure you take quiet time to yourself so that you can actually process the death, process your feelings, and just move through what really just happened. And so that's what I did. And when I'm taking that time, I'm having that one on one conversation with my mom, who's gone, just kind of talking to her, you know, and not only talking to her, but also, when I'm talking to her, I'm like, why would you leave? I'm not understanding. You got this grandbaby that's 6 that needs you. Just having all the conversations, right? That I feel that are so important because I'm getting it out, right? I'm not letting, because you don't want to let it in. the hardest thing on your body is to leave those questions and those feelings inside, because now they're tearing up your system, right? And now you're going to have, breathing issues. It can affect your heart, your blood pressure. You can start having headaches because you're harboring all of that energy, all of the questions, all of the things you need answers to. You're just holding it in because you're not asking. So you need to start talking to your loved one who passed. And that's what I did. Like, Mom, I don't understand. And we just moved here. You wanted this house and you just leave? Like, what? Then I talked to God. Like, what? I don't understand this, right? I'm alone having these conversations. And it allows you to cry, right? Cry as you're having the conversations, right? And then you're also reminiscing on the conversations you had about when the time comes. And that's what I did. I started saying, she said she would be fine. She said, I know that you all are going to be okay. I know that she's okay because she did everything that she was supposed to do in life. She loved God. I know she's in a great place. Um, I don't have to worry about her because I know that she's good. So I did all of those conversations. And then not only that, I did rely on my support system. I did have all the calls, all my support systems calling. Remember, it was COVID when it happened. So I didn't get surrounded by, a community of loved ones helping me through it because COVID. But I did get all the phone calls, and I got all the phone calls that reminisced about my mom and their time with her. And I got to listen to all of that. And then also I had the calls where they couldn't believe because there was no sign of her being sick. And it was so instant. I got the calls with her best friends and other friends and relatives screaming and crying on the phone, right? To me, who I'm the daughter who had the loss, right? So what do you do with that, right? And so what happened, because I have the therapy background, I end up moving them through the grief, and the shock and denial stage of losing my mom, losing their friend. So I end up helping them. So sometimes helping others navigate through your grief helps as well. But the most important time, if I say meditating is everything, and through your shock and denial stage, meditation is imperative because it allows you to, talk to your loved one that has just moved on. It allows you to talk to God, and allows you to kind of hear back and let them talk back to you. That allows you to really move through the stage, right? So I think that was helpful. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. You will go through this stage again, right? So you think, okay, ooh, I made it. I made it through stage one, right? Shock and denial. Now I'm just flat out angry. So I'm going to make it stage two, right? Now, here's the kicker. You will go through the stages again. So there is no scientific way that you're going to go through these stages. You will go through the stage, then go through the other stages, and then come back and go through that stage again. And just allow yourself to do those things, right? Allow yourself to move through stage, go back, hit it again, move through it again, and continuously use the tools that you used before to get through that stage again, right? And so that's all I did. I looked at her picture and I remembered, the actual incident that happened, her actually passing in front of me, the ambulance coming. I had to move through all of that in my time of meditation to tell myself, my reality is, my mom's gone. So we won't laugh like we did together. We won't get to go fill our tank up together. We won't get to go to Papa Del's, which is her favorite restaurant, and laugh and, have her meal that she loved there. Like she loved the fish and dirty rice, right? Because she feels like Papa Do's puts too many fries when you do fish and fries. So she's like, too many fries. She didn't drink, so yeah, she left that to me. So I get to have the hurricane. So yeah, I don't get to, scare her. Like I used to mess with her, come up on scare. She's afraid of stuff. Like you could a plastic spider or, a snake or whatever you throw it and she jumps up and cuss, right? Like she's so short, but so all those things. Um, I had to move through that is not going to happen. The reality of the changes in my life, right? Um, and I think one of the major things that helped me move through the shock and denial is she would want me to be here for my baby, her granddaughter. She would be not happy if I tap out because her granddaughter meant everything to her. She was pretty much there for my baby, and she was such a great grandmother to all of her grandchildren. And all she had was girls. Um, So that's what moved me through because I know she would want me to continue on raising Nori and doing all the things that we were doing together with Nori. So those are the things that, I say keep in mind as you're, allow yourself to be here. Okay. Allow yourself to be in shock and denial. It is flat okay. All right. Be numb as long as you need to be numb. Don't let anybody tell you to snap out of it. There ain't nothing you can do. These are your feelings. This is your life. This is you. This is your loss. So don't let anyone tell you how long you need to be in a stage and how you need to move through the stage. Okay. That's imperative. Please. You move through these stages and you deal with the losses the way that you need to deal with it because that's what's going to help you. Listening to others saying you've got to snap out of it, you got to move through it, and hear all the things. Everybody passes away. It's something that happens. Um, I feel like that's an insensitivity to what you're going through, right? It's again how someone else moves through, and you can't move through how someone else moves through, right? Because this is you and this is your loss. So you got to navigate it and move the way that you want to move through it. And it's on your time, okay? On your time. So take time to meditate, have that time for yourself, get away from everyone, and just get in a closet. I don't, wherever you can go to, just be by yourself and talk to your loved one and talk to God and reminisce on what they wanted, how they wanted to leave, or how they're okay, whatever reminisce you need to go through. If it's a job, you know, sit to yourself and weigh the pros and cons, or understand that it was your time to move on because there's something bigger and greater for you. So as you want to grieve the loss of a job that you were in, that job, everything has a time, everything has a season, and you can't get to something greater that's planned for you if you sit and wallow in the loss, right? And you just sit there and stay there because there's always something greater and better planned for you. So when you get done moving through the shock and denial of losing a job, dust off and just be ready and get prepared for what is next in line for you, what is next planned for you. Everything's written out. See, this is what people put so much time in, taking on their own stuff, right? Planning, doing things, thinking that, they can solve everything. Everything is already outlined for us. Everything's already, God has all that planned. Yeah, everybody has a number. We don't know what it is. Everybody has a number, but your story's written, right? You're on page 15. You have no idea what's on page 20, right? So let's not put so much effort into what's happening on page 15 because 16, 17, 18, all these pages are already written. So you just got to sit back, take a hold, and get ready. Get ready for page 16, 17, because I'm telling you right now, we were all meant to live great lives. We are going to go through. Life is going to happen to us, good or bad. We just got to be ready to, deal with the results, put our armor on. We can do it. All right. So that is I just wanted to give you a personal experience of, shock and denial for me. And I wanted to use my experience with my mom. I've had others. My niece definitely was the thing with the shock and denial with my niece. I had just lost my mother April 15th of 2020, right? So when my niece passes away July 2021, um, it was I wasn't even back in my body yet because I was still in that shock and denial stage. So I was actually comforting people like I had not just lost my niece, like I wasn't here. So I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry for your lot. Like I was literally not here. So I experienced all the stages with my niece 2 years after she passed because I was coming back from everything, the shock and denial and all the stages of dealing with my mom. So, I mean, I'm telling you right now, everything moves the way that it's gonna move, and we just gotta hold on. And just hold on and know there's always a better day. Use our support systems. I'm here for you to give you the tools that work for me. And if you have any questions to say, well, hey, give me some more advice, or, this is what I'm grieving. It's not a death, it's not a job, it's my divorce. Um, Give me some advice on that. Absolutely. You can put it in the comments. I have Instagram, N2U is in my Instagram. But please definitely, put a comment and, ask me whatever questions you need. I'm here for you. I'm able to smile and embrace life and live my best life, even with all the losses, by just simply, using my tools, and wanting to live my best life. And I want to be able to give them to you. So please like and subscribe and put in the comments, do you like this show? Is it helpful? Is there anything I can advise for you to move through any grief scenarios that you're going through and how life is happening to you? All right, this is a wrap. This is all I have for you on our first episode and N2U The Movement Grief, episode 1, which is shock and denial. Our next episode 2 is going to be on anger. And we're going to really dive into. And that one is going to be interesting, the tools that I will provide for you to get through that anger stage. That's significant. And that's a stage that's going to happen definitely more than once. And so we'll work through those. I am so glad. I know that you guys are here because you want the tools. You want to grow, reflect, and reimagine, the new you. So I know you're here, you're in the right space. And again, please join me for episode 2, Anger Stage of Grief. Thank you.